This was about 75 bucks, but I put it on my Amazon wish list, and a friend of mine bought it for me. This battery isolator is going to sit between my engine battery on the bus and the house batteries. Ideally, if the engine's on, then it will help with charging the batteries, and if the solar is on for the house batteries, it will charge the engine battery when those ones are full. On the back here, we have 2 1/4-inch terminals. Second battery, so this is for the house battery. Sense battery is for the engine. So we'll hook this up. I got 4-gauge wire. It said that it needed 6-gauge wire. So I'm going slightly thicker just because it is kind of a long run from the engine battery, which is somewhere right around here, all the way to my engine, or my house batteries, which are in that closet over there. So here we go. I'm down by my batteries. There's one in here, one in here. They both connect to a common terminal that's located through those holes in the back there. For the sake of sanity, I'm going to remove this battery so that I can maneuver around in here a little bit better and figure out my mounting position. I twisted my battery in the compartment, and I drilled 2 holes where I've decided I'm going to be putting the isolator. It will go right there. This is for the Sense battery, which is the engine battery. And so this cord doesn't go anywhere yet. We have a little grounding wire and this 4-gauge wire. Alright, so I've mounted the back plate in the position where I'm going to be putting the isolator. I have expanded these holes because they were a little bit too small for my 4-gauge wire, and then I've got this little grounding wire. So this is the back of the isolator on the Sense terminal, which is the engine battery terminal. This one's for the house batteries. So now I just got to attach this. Okay, so the isolator is mounted, and now I just got to feed my wires through here, and I will be connecting this guy to the positive terminal for both of my engine batteries. Alright, so it's another day out here at the battery box, and I'm going to be attaching, got this wire, the isolator that you see in there to my other battery bank, and hopefully that will be all that is required to make this system work. There we have the cables connected. I don't know how well you can see that. This one is for the house, this one is for the engine battery. And now I gotta just put it back in place and then connect the house battery, and we'll see if this thing turns on. Well, I got the power shut off now. All power's off. So I need to connect the positive terminal. This is the other end of that cable down here at my positive terminal. So I'm going to take this off, put this on, and tighten it back on. Alright, so I got the terminal moved. This terminal is now connected to the first one, just like the charge controller, and I moved my temperature sensor to another terminal because there was just too much on that terminal. Ideally, all these batteries will be about the same temperature, so this doesn't carry any kind of charge or anything, shouldn't screw anything up, so I just put it there for now. So that should be it. I'm going to turn everything on, and then we'll see if the isolator is working. Okay, everything is connected, so this should be good to go. Unfortunately, the LED only turns on when the isolator has connected both battery banks. So in order to actually test this, I either need more sun charging my house batteries, or I need to start the engine and get this battery fully charged before it will start charging the house batteries. So I'm going to put the battery back. I should still be able to see it in there, and then we will start it up and see how it goes. Alright, I tried to start the engine. It didn't work because it has been sitting here for a while, so I've got it plugged into my charger. Gonna let this charge for a little while. Ideally, that isolator will prevent situations like this from happening anymore, because when the house batteries charge, it should connect to the engine battery and charge those. But for now, this is what I got to deal with until we get more sun. Isolator is working. We've got 28 amps coming in right now. I turned on the engine, let it run for a while, and now it is charging my house batteries. So the starter battery is all charged up. It's kind of going down right now because I just turned the cruise control down, so it's the RPMs are down. But yeah, it's working. All right, I'm at the back side of my battery box, and you can see from my isolator, I've got one battery wire running to this terminal so that both of the batteries are connected and connected to the engine at 12 volts. And that other wire heads off to my house batteries for charging that. And then I've got this other wire, which is just a grounding wire that I've grounded to the chassis over here. And it needs that to function. And if you put a switch in the middle of that circuit, then you can turn the isolator on and off. So the reason that I want to install a switch in the middle of this circuit for the ground wire is so that I can turn the isolator on and off at will. I would just like to have a little bit more control. Generally it's going to stay on, but you know, to top off my batteries, maybe it would be a better idea to, you know, close the circuit or open the circuit manually. So that's what I want to do. All right, the battery isolator has been working in the bus for a while now, and so I wanted to give you an update on how it works. The switch is fantastic. I mostly keep it off because we're not getting too much sunlight here in the winter time, but I flip it on every once in a while just to kind of let some of the charge trickle over from the solar to the engine battery. But I'm going to show you now how the isolator works and how much of a difference it makes in my charging. We're going to see if we can start the engine right now. It's been cold for at least a couple of weeks, so let's see what we can do. All right. That beeping is for the air compressor. There needs to be a certain level of pressure in order for the air brakes to function, so you wait until that beeping stops before you start going somewhere. Well, let's do this. Flip the battery isolator on. There's a 30-second delay. And we're gonna go to amps and just give it a second. Okay, so it's been taking a bit longer than 30 seconds for the other thing to turn on. I get the sense that the engine batteries are probably not as charged as I thought they were, so I'm going to shut off the engine and leave it. But I'm going to leave the isolator connected. And hopefully tomorrow, after a full day of what I hope will be nice sunny weather, we'll have some more charge to work with. Okay, so it's another day. I'm out here in the bus. I left the isolator on for a day and a half. That doesn't necessarily mean that it turned on, just that it has the ability to turn on because of the way that I have the switch. So let's check how the batteries are doing. Okay, so the house batteries, we've got 13.8 volts coming in, 1.2 amps coming in, charging the batteries. And we're 98% full, which is kind of expected because it's kind of early in the morning. So let's see, first off, if the connection is closed. If the connection is on, the amps should shoot up right after I do that. So I'm shutting it off now. And sure enough, the amps shoot up. It looks like we're getting 6.2 amps coming in from the solar panels right now, so the battery charge controller is working, and to try to charge my house batteries. 14.6 volts now coming in, so that's charging voltage. Okay, so that proves that the isolator is charging the engine batteries when it's connected and it's getting enough sunlight. So like I said, it's been a day or two since I flipped it on. It's been doing this for a couple of days, and so now let's see if it works the other direction. Right now the solar is on, but the isolator is off, so I'm going to go ahead and hit it. Well, actually, I'm going to shut the solar off first. Okay, so there's no power going to the house batteries right now. And now I'm going to flip on the isolator. Give it a second. And there it is. So it triggers the connection, and now my house batteries are being charged at about 10 amps. I think that most of the energy from the alternator is going back to the engine batteries, and the excess is still coming over here, because I've seen it go as high as about 30 amps before.